Welcome to the Northeast Mississippi Rewind for Week 8 of the high school football season, Week 9 if you're an academy. I'm Brad Locke with the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. Brandon Speck of the Amory Advertiser joining me this evening. Well, Brandon, South Panola keeps rolling. Had some blowouts tonight that I thought were a bit surprising, and it's Backbird's Hat Night at Northeast Mississippi Rewind. Anyway, so Brandon, South Panola and Tupelo, the Golden Wave going over to Batesville, hoping to stop that state record winning streak, and Golden Wave gave them a test, played them close, but South Panola ultimately comes out on top 22-9. I was out at Fulton at the Itawamba game. I got a call from Gene Phelps, and he was like, "Hey, Tupelo's up 9-7 in the third," and not 5 minutes later he calls back. South Panola went up 15-9 or something like that. So that's the thing about South Panola, Brandon. I mean, the margin of victory keeps growing smaller. They're not blowing people out like they used to, but they know how to answer a challenge. They weren't challenged a lot the last 4 years, winning all those state titles. This year they've been challenged, and they've proven that they are a champion because they've responded. They were down 14-0 last week to Columbus. They've had some other tough games this year, and they fell behind tonight in the second half. But another win for South Panola. Good effort by the Golden Wave, but they come up short. Brandon, any thoughts on that? I mean, it's 68 in a row for South Panola.
The thing about Panola, I heard last week when they were down 14-0. I told a guy standing next to me on the sideline, actually out in South Pontotoc, I said the next time we hear that it'll be South Panola 43 and Columbus 14. That's just the way they do things. They can seem to score just at will. So.
They do, and I don't see anybody stopping them getting number 5. Let's real quick go down the list of the Daily Journal ranked teams, how they did tonight. Number 1, Shannon in the large schools, improved to 8-0. They defeated Center Hill. Number 2, West Point rallies back against West Lauderdale. Of course, number 3, Tupelo losing to South Panola. Number 4, Stark will beat South Haven, and number 5, Lafayette County beat Oak Haven out of Memphis. The small schools, number 1, Ripley still undefeated. They handled North Pontotoc. Number 2, Bruce over Water Valley. Number 3, Okolona. This is one of the blowouts I'm talking about, Brandon, losing 52-0 to number 5, East Webster, and number 4, Baldwin defeats Hamilton 31-0. So right to those blowouts, Brandon. First, I want to talk about my game, Tishomingo County at Itawamba. Tishomingo led this one at the half, 20-14, but finally, second half, Itawamba found some offense, and they just pounded the ball away. First drive of the second half, ground out a 13-play drive and ended up scoring to go ahead. And then Deshaun McGoy, who had a lot of carries on that drive, then broke off an 83-yard touchdown run on the next drive, and Itawamba kind of rolled from there. McGoy had 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brandon, the game you were at, Aberdeen and Louisville, you did say earlier this year you thought the Bulldogs could give Louisville a run, but I think we all know now how good the Wildcats are. Brandon, what'd you see out there?
Boy, was I wrong. Louisville, it's unbelievable. Aberdeen has a receiver that runs a 4.39 in the 40, and that defense made him look extremely slow. It's unreal the way they scored the ball. They put 5 guys in the box and made Aberdeen run the ball, and even when they ran the ball, they got 1 or 2 yards. In the first half, they had 12 plays for minus 23 yards. So and you're talking about a team that's been putting up 450 a game, something of that nature. So Louisville, obviously number 1 seed. Aberdeen should be in the playoffs, but Louisville's going to be very tough to beat.
Indeed, Brandon. And another game that surprised me, Corinth defeating Kossuth 42-16. Now, just last week, Kossuth took Ripley to overtime, the number 1 team among our small schools, but Kossuth lost that game 10-7. Corinth has got kind of off to a slow start this year, but I figured they'd make some noise before it was said and done. So a big Region 1 3A win for Corinth, 42-16. And one more. Well, we mentioned actually 2 more I need to get to. Morville over Saltillo 28-0. I thought Saltillo might put up a better fight, so Tigers still winless in that Okolona East Webster game. Here's my prediction. It's a Brad Locke, Cold Stone Locke, whatever you want to call that thing. East Webster is going to win this 1A title this year, the 1A state championship. That's a guarantee, Brandon. 52-0 over an Okolona team that had a pretty good defense, we thought, and I guess they do. But East Webster just another level. So big win for the Wolverines. That brings us to the 5 stars, mercifully, for tonight. Damian Hughes of Corinth in that big win ran for 259 yards. He ran for 300 last week, so 2 big weeks there for Mr. Hughes. He had 4 touchdowns. Richard Freelon of Bruce, ho-hum, another 200-plus yard night for him. 256 this time, and 4 touchdowns in that win over Water Valley. Jacob Sesma, Mr. Do-It-All for Walnut, he had 192 yards total and 3 touchdowns in a win over Belmont. Jaquise Cook of Ripley, a big night, 183 yards, 3 scores against North Pontotoc. And Chaz Thompson, cornerback for Nettleton, had 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery. The Tigers finally get back in the win column against Caledonia, 45-20. Too bad that's not a division game. The Tigers still 0-4 in Region 1-3A. So that brings us to the end of it tonight. For Northeast Mississippi Rewind, for Brandon Speck, I'm Brad Locke. Thanks for joining us. Join us next week now for Northeast Mississippi Scouting Report on Thursday and another Rewind on Friday. Thank you.